Most of the rituals we hear about have simple explanations. But what if some of them are really gateways to the unknown? Throughout history, have people unknowingly performed rituals that awaken dark forces? The lost ones, the ones who lost their minds, and those who are never the same again. Today, we will explore the most terrifying rituals that even science cannot explain, and whose mysteries remain unsolved. Have you heard the stories of those who couldn't return? Have you ever thought about the moment when you realize that your reflection in a mirror doesn't belong to you? Are these rituals merely legends, or are they truly forbidden rites with terrifying consequences when their rules are broken? If you dare to watch, let's begin. But be warned, some say there are rituals you should never even speak the name of. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications for more content like this. Path of the Dead Man, the ones who cannot return. Imagine yourself lost in a deep, fog-covered forest. The trees around you are silent and still, but it feels like something is watching you. The Dead Man's Path ritual, said to have originated from ancient pagan tribes in Central Europe, takes place in such a forest. However, there's a rule to this ritual. Once you start, you may not be able to return. To perform the ritual, one must place an old coin on the ground in a specific forest and step into a circle. Then, they close their eyes and take exactly 10 steps. But here's where the truly terrifying part begins. Trying to return to the circle is where most fail, because some believe this ritual bends reality, pulling you into another dimension. In 1953, a group of young people in Germany went into the forest to test this ritual. That night, one of them, a young man named Karl, volunteered to perform the ritual. He closed his eyes, placed his coin on the ground, and began walking. After taking 10 steps, he stopped and tried to turn back. But minutes passed, and no one saw him. His friends started shouting, shining their flashlights everywhere, but Karl was nowhere to be found. Hours, even days went by. There was no trace of him. Authorities investigated the case. Searches were conducted, but nothing was found about Karl. While some argued it was simply a missing person case, the strange whispers heard in the forest and the unexplained shadows still suggest there's a secret behind this ritual. So, would you dare walk the path of the dead man? The spirit birds ritual, the lost voices in the depths of the Amazon rainforest. There is an enigmatic ritual belonging to an unknown tribe, the spirit birds ritual. This ritual has been performed only a few times, but the results are said to be chilling. Those who complete this ritual lose the ability to speak forever. The rules of the ritual are simple, yet terrifying. The participant finds a bird feather by the river and places it in the water. Then, they make 3 wishes and watch as the feather floats on the surface. If the feather sinks and disappears, the person's voice will vanish. Whether this is temporary or permanent is unknown, but ancient tribal legends say this is a dangerous ritual that calls forth spirits. The most terrifying modern account of this ritual took place in the 1970s. A group of researchers who tracked this ritual deep in the Amazon discovered that a shaman knew about it. The shaman performed the ritual on one of the tourists. They sat by the river, placed the feather in the water, and the man whispered his wishes. At first, everything seemed normal, until the feather suddenly sank to the bottom. At that moment, the man began panicking, clutching his throat with his hands. He tried to speak, but no words came out. His voice was gone. Doctors found no physical problems, but the man could never speak again. The shamans called it a curse. Scientists couldn't explain it. So, would you dare to lose your voice for a wish? The red door, yellow door, the parallel universe. Game. Your eyes are closed, and you're relying only on your hearing. Everything around you is dark, and something is waiting for you. the red door, yellow door. This ritual, a mysterious and frightening game that emerged in the 1980s in the United States, has complicated rules. Some believe those who enter this ritual may never return to their old reality. The ritual starts when a person is placed in the middle of a long room. The first step is to place two mirrors facing each other. A candle is lit in the middle, and the person closes their eyes and asks, "Red door or yellow door?" They then choose a door in their mind and begin to imagine themselves standing in front of it. However, sometimes everything changes for the ritual to take effect, because those who choose the correct door, according to some, disappear into another reality. In 1987, a group of university students gathered late at night to test this ritual. They closed their eyes and began with "yellow door." Then, one of the students completely vanished. No one was around, but suddenly a door appeared in the room, and the students, astonished, moved towards it. The door vanished, and there was no way for the student to return. Soon, the group found him, but for several minutes, no one could speak to him. He was acting strangely, as if he came from another world, and he wasn't the person they once knew. After that day, the person they had known was never the same again. Scientists have always tried to explain the incident as a big accident or a case of schizophrenia, but one of them is still missing and has never been found. So, which door will you choose? The red door or the yellow door? The tomb shadow ritual. The dead's shadow never leaves you. Sometimes the dead don't have to leave this world only physically. They may never leave spiritually. The tomb shadow ritual, an ancient ritual that goes back to the late 1700s, is still considered by some to be a dangerous warning today. The ritual begins with the lighting of a candle, which is then brought to a grave. But the truly terrifying part occurs when certain words are whispered and ritualistic movements are made around the grave. After completing the ritual, the person's shadow begins to follow the dark trail of the dead. If the ritual is performed correctly and the spirit of the grave is disturbed, the person's soul will never find peace again. In 1965, a group of tourists in Northern Europe performed this ritual at a graveyard late at night. They sat by the graves, reading eerie words from old tombstones and inscriptions. As the candle burned, they suddenly felt an icy chill, but no one spoke. Everything seemed normal. But after the ritual that night, the group experienced a life-changing event. The next morning, Marcus, the group leader, woke up with a shadow hovering over him. He noticed that his shadow was moving strangely with the daylight. As the days passed, Marcus's behavior became increasingly odd. Then, one day, Marcus disappeared and never returned. His body was found near the cemetery. No one believed his shadow had disappeared. Some believe the ritual was a cursed warning. Once you touch the spirit of the grave, your shadow will never leave you. So, would you dare perform this ritual? Endless mirrors ritual. Souls trapped between mirrors. A room, two mirrors, and a candle. Would you dare push the limits of your reality with such a simple setup? The endless mirrors ritual, said to have emerged in 19th century Europe, offers far more than it seems. The rules of the ritual are simple. Two large mirrors are placed facing each other, and a candle is lit in between. At first, you notice nothing out of the ordinary, but soon, your reflection begins to grow stranger, until one of the mirrors seems to swallow it whole. Within the interwoven, infinite reflections, something begins to disappear. Perhaps a soul. In 1967, a man decided to try the ritual. Initially, everything seemed normal, but soon, he couldn't see his reflection in the mirror. His reflection was gone, but he was still there. Was this simply a hallucination or visual distortion? Or was something watching him from the depths of the mirrors? Something trapped? For days, the man searched for his reflection, but it never came back. As night fell, he felt trapped in a world without a reflection, lost in an endless void. While some tried to explain it as a psychological case, the truth remains a mystery. Is there a terrifying place where human souls are trapped between mirrors? Would you dare to see the endless void between them? What you've seen is just the beginning. Every ritual opens a door. Some doors, when opened, pull you inside. So what about you? Do you have the courage to stretch the limits of your reality and face the unknown? Every ritual hides a secret, and no one truly knows what they will encounter. This terrifying journey ends with only one boundary: seeking knowledge, but at the cost of losing your soul. The mystery of endless mirrors, lost time, and souls deepens. Will you take the next step? Every new ritual leaves behind another lost story. Remember, following the path of mystery is like embarking on a journey from which you can never return. If you're still here, that means you're ready to take one more step. Don't forget to subscribe, because dark secrets only wait at the beginning. Stay fearful,